before I kickstart the session, I just wanted to introduce myself, guys. My name is RM. I have more than 14 years of industry experience. I had one of the analytics division at one of the prime company. Okay. Uh, Guys, you lot of people might be aware of Excel also, correct? They know Excel better than me also, or they will be master. But today's session, I have designed in a such a way that anybody in this team who doesn't know Excel can learn Excel today. So for some of you, those who are advanced learner, today's session is more towards basics of Excel, what Excel is all about, what are the basic function exist, what are the frequently used formula. I'll try to cover that. Okay. So I'm not going to assume that my entire batch knows Excel. I'm not going to assume there are some experts. So my assumption is how can I train each and every team member of this class so that they get the awareness of Excel and they can do lot many things with the Excel. With that understanding, let me get started. So a lot of people will be saying, why in the analytics side we are using Excel? What is the purpose of Excel? So guys, the true definition of consultant, if you ask, most of the analytics or most of the insights happen within the Excel sheet. So the data you can store, the data you capture, you can do a lot of slice and dice analysis of that. So if somebody asks me, sir, what is big data for you? So my definition for big data is anything that Excel cannot handle. I have that simplest definition. So the data which my Excel cannot handle is big data for me. Now, why do I say so? As a consultant, as a senior leadership in the company, I do my lot of analysis through Excel. And you might be saying, sir, there might be millions of record, billions of record. How will you do that? So guys, statistics is an excellent field. In that we learn the concept of samples. So samples are basically taking out random sample from entire population, and that sample will be true representative of your population. Correct? So with that definition, I can extract any of the records and you would see the mean, mode, median, standard deviation of the sample data will tie back to the original population. And that's why Excel is need of the hour. So you can work with the sample data, do a lot of slice and dice and give the insights to the business. Okay. So now let's start with the classical definition of what is Excel. Okay. Excel is simply nothing but the combination of rows and columns. Okay. A lot of people refer to as a spreadsheets. A lot of people refer to it as sheets. Correct. So what spreadsheet or what sheet basically contains? The sheet and the spreadsheets, basically combination of rows and columns where we try to put the information, where we try to capture the information. In that space, we try to do the analysis. Now, in Excel, we can do all mathematical functions, we can do statistical functions, and there are various ways to visualize the data also. Before implementation of Tableau, ClickView, Power BI, we used to see a lot of dashboards in Excel. So Excel was so powerful tool that people have built very, very good and very good dashboards using Excel that can wow you. But because of limitations of number of rows, Excel did not flourish. Correct. And that's the only limitation of Excel. If Excel could have had the connection with direct databases, now they have introduced those, but Excel becomes very bulkier to manage 1 terabyte of data, 2 terabytes of data, or anything above 10 GBs of data. So Excel becomes very, very so. The reason being, it tries to execute everything from the RAM. Now, with that basic understanding, correct, let me get started where you will find to open the Excel. Okay. So type here to search. Those who don't know, simply type Excel here and Excel will pop up at the top. Okay. Now I'm clicking on that. So this is the basically how to open Excel. Okay. I know a lot of you know this, but guys, I told you I'm starting right from the basic. Correct. Okay. So now my Excel has opened. Now this is, once I click, this is what the blank thing will, this is the thing will open.
Now what I want to do, I want to create the new Excel sheet. So I am simply clicking the blank workbook and it will open the entire space for me. Now this entire space is basically called as an Excel, and this is called as spreadsheet. So can you see at the bottom? There is called sheet 1. I can simply go ahead and click on that and rename. I'll rename that applied business analytics batch 1. Okay, this is simply the way I have given the nomenclature. If you want to add more sheets, there's on the right hand side you will see the plus sign. If you add that tab, it will automatically add those many number of sheets to the Excel. Now if you closely observe, I am highlighting the numbers. So the numbers on the left hand side basically represents the row number. Okay, and anything at the top which is little in alphabets A to Z and AA Z Z Z that long, so all these are called as columns. Okay, so now this is very basic. Now let's understand what these tabs are called, what these functions are called, what this is basically called. Correct. So now if you can see my screen, guys, in that the most of the functions what we execute in the Excel are basically in the menu bar. Now where is that menu bar? So the thing what I'm highlighting at the top, okay, the file, anything between this is my menu bar. Okay, now if this is my menu bar, what are this basically file, home, insert, draw is called? These are called as ribbons. These are called as ribbon. So as I click on the ribbon, I get different menus to search for and can apply for. Are you guys with me? Okay. Our 70 to 80% of the requirement in the Excel can happen only through the home bar. And those who are interested in doing analytics and applying a lot of things, they can simply do most of the things from using the data bar. Okay, selecting the data ribbon. Okay, so now with this, you might be wondering, what is this f of x? So this part is basically called as the formula bar. So whatever the formula you will write, if I select this and I'll start writing it, sum a plus a comma b. So you would see the formula will be appearing in the formula bar. Okay, so this is formula bar. This will help you out to visualize what is your formula, how your formula is right, either your formula is wrong or not, how you can correct there and there itself. So that's the power of this. Now you might be wondering, guys, how many of you know GPS? Do you use GPS tracker? Location identification. So do you think Excel has a location identification? So the thing what I'm highlighting on the left hand side, this is called internal GPS. The name is called as naming bar. So it basically tells you where my cursor is pointing at the moment. And I can jump to anything. If I write E500, it will jump to that space also. If I type G200, it will take me to that same. So this is nothing but the, where my cursor is, where my naming pad is. And this is also called as internal GPS of, Excel, which tells you where you are located, where your place is, and so on and so forth. Now, this is basically the basics of Excel. Now, if you closely observe the spaces between what I'm highlighting, correct? This is basically called as the spreadsheet, where you would be saving a lot of data, you would be doing a lot of analytics, you will be doing a lot of functions and formulas. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to teach you some of the basic things in this, and before that I wanted to collect the data, and the source of the data itself is the batch. So I wanted to know the batch information so that all the formulas, all the functions what we are going to learn today will easily able to identify that. Okay, let me start collecting the information one by each one of you. Okay, so what information I need? I need name first, then I need age, then I need the state they belong to, and then I need what degree you hold. Correct? Whether you hold masters or bachelors, and whether it's engineering, commerce, or anything. Correct? So let's start one by one. So let's start with ascending order. Akula, what is the name shall I type? Nagraj. Okay, what is age? 23. State? Okay, Telangana. If I ask you the specialization in that, you will say electronics. Perfect. Second is Akhil. Okay, AKHIL 26. So again Telangana, BE mechanical. Okay, then we have Bhargavi 23, Karnataka, BCA computer science, CS, very nice. Okay, then we have Darive Mula. Guys, if I pronounce it right, please. Pavan, perfect. 25. So guys, did you look at how Excel is smart? When I also type T, it automatically look at the historical information and try to suggest me, are you typing Telangana? Correct. If you look at, if I type B dot, he did not give me B Tech, but as soon as I press dot, he understands, okay, I meant B Tech. Correct. So that is what Excel is all about. Excel is very, very powerful tool to understand things, and one of the smartest when it comes to giving the representations for the data analytics. Now moving to the next, Sai. It's basically Kumar, 24, Andhra Pradesh. I'll type AP, B Tech. Okay. After go one by one, guys. Then I have Gopi. After Gopi, it's basically Hari. Okay. After Hari is basically Kishan. Then I have Krupa. Perfect. Then I have Venkatesh. After Venkatesh is basically Mahesh GR. So now, okay. Then after that is Nikhil. Perfect. After Nikhil, Bandaru or Prasanna. After Prasanna, Pulkit. Arjit Teja. Then Sanjay Kumar. Okay, so now the basic function we are going to learn today is called Control C, Control V. So what I did, guys, I am going in the cell C10 and I copied till the things I want to. So then I pressed Control C and I came down and typed Control V. So Control C, Control V is most of the computer guys will be using this function. Control C for copying, Control V is for pasting. Okay, if I do Control X, okay, and I do Control V, it will delete. Control X is basically for deleting that particular cell or information and copying somewhere. So in a typical computer language, it is called as cut paste. Okay, so Control X, Control V. So these are two basic functions. I don't worry, I'll give you lot many shortcuts for this. So this is the information, guys. Okay, now here I'll type S number. Okay, now if I type S number here, now I'll simply press 1 and 2. Excel is so smart enough, if you can go down, then it will exactly stop after 20, because the number of rows I have had, I leverage that. So that is basically called as, in the Excel, is calling the leveraging the autofill of adjacent columns. Okay, how to leverage autofill and autofill using adjacent columns? So I leverage adjacent columns to autofill the record. Okay, so now if this is the Excel we created, now somebody might be saying, sir, I have very less amount of space. How can I increase or decrease the space? So you go to the bar, correct? Double click on that. It will minimize it. Done. You got more space. Do you guys see that? If I double click on that, it will come back again. If I double click on that, it will go. Fine. Now, if that is done, somebody might say, okay, sir, I don't have the mouse or I don't know double clicking. What can I do? So there is an Excel fourth shortcut, you will get it. So the number of shortcuts we learn today is Control C, Control V, Control X. Now we are going to learn Control F1. Okay. Now, if I type Control, a lot of people won't have the function keys associated with that. So Control function F1 you can press. That will also minimize. If those who don't have the function, F1 is straightforward written, they can simply press Control F1 to minimize the menu bar and to get the menu bar again. Okay. So if those who have anything function associated with F1, then you have to press Control function and F1. If there is nothing written on F1 above, then go ahead and press Control F1. So it will minimize and it will, now for me, F1 is basically, if I only press F1, it basically mutes. Correct? So I have to press Control function F1 to minimize, Control function F1 to not minimize. Okay. Now these are the functions, or I'll say shortcuts. Okay. Now this is the batch profile. Now let's suppose this sale is like this, the sale is like this. So how to do that? Can I go one row by one row and do that? Correct. If I can simply click on this, I'll show it again. Let's suppose I have all the data merged like this. Is this a good way of representation, guys? One way to enlarge this, which is called cell to fit, okay, is basically if you go at the top and if you go to the column end, I hope you guys can see my cursor, correct? So if you double click on that, it will enlarge the column cell based on that particular column, width of the column. So Krupa Darshan was a bigger name, Sanjay Kumar was a bigger name, Vidut Kumar was a bigger name, but Krupa Darshan was the biggest of all, so that it has basically helped you to align the name in that particular column with the maximum cell width. Are you with me? Now imagine the spreadsheet I have given to you, it has 500 columns. So will you do one by one for each column? So the fastest way is, if you can look at the right hand side between A before A and above 1, you just click on that. Okay, that selects the entire spreadsheet. Now if I select that spreadsheet and then if I click on A1, it basically makes all the columns to cell fit. The data is completely merged. The spreadsheet you received is not giving it the right view. One way is to go and manually do this, correct? Now, if I don't want to do manually, I want to autofill, make it auto. So I'm going left hand side top corner, just next to A. There is a blank cell here, correct? I'm clicking on that. As soon as I click, it selects the entire spreadsheet of that sheet. And then come to any of the columns and click on the process we said to select a single column. So I simply clicked on A and did that. It automatically clears the entire cell column fitment for the Excel spreadsheet. Are you with me? Is it easy? Okay. So this is basically the way you want to cell fit your data. Okay. So now I wanted to show you some of the ways you do the formatting. Now let's suppose S number, I can select the simply column and I want the columns to be center aligned. So can you see there is an alignment tab at the top? Okay. Can you see that, guys? Can you follow my arrow? So there is this basically means alignment, how you want to align your text. So this basically suggests, do I need to align my text at the top, whether I need to align in the middle or do I need at the bottom. So by default, it is always selected as the bottom alignment. Okay. Now this basically suggests whether I want my cell to be extremely left. If I do extreme left, you could see one has shifted to extreme left. If I do center, this will align based on the column width. And if I do right, it will go extremely right. So by default, bottom and the right alignment is by default selected for the numbers, correct? So I'll go here and I'll select the center, which is center alignment. I want my numbers to be center aligned. Okay. And I want my columns to be left aligned. This one is left aligned. This one is left aligned. Text is left aligned. So that basically looks very neat and clean. So far, any questions guys for me? So this is how you align your things. Now somebody might say, sir, I want to merge the two columns. Okay, so how can I merge? If I simply Control A, Control C, Control A is basically to select the entire spreadsheet. Okay, so another shortcut we learned is Control A. So Control A basically stands for selecting the entire area. I just went to SR number at the top, went there, press Control A. It has basically selected all the columns. Now I am doing the copy pasting in Control in spreadsheet 3. Now in this spreadsheet, I want to merge these two cells together. Okay, so I simply select these two and I can click on the merge on the top. Can you see that? There's a merge option. If I merge this, this will merge the two cell information together. Okay. Now the better way of representation for this, at the top, I would say this is the all cells are merged, and this information is basically for applied business analytics batch 1. Okay. Now I merged all the things. I have given this file name, as a batch profile, and I have selected this, the columns. So I have given all the column names as one bigger header. Okay. So this is about merging. Now, how can I do color filling or how can I beautify this? Now, can you just go on the left? You will see fill color. Correct. Now, I want to give good colors to this to make it very beautiful. Okay, so I go to the color tab. I'll put this the dark color at the back, and then I'll go down and I select the light color. So that basically gives me a good way of representation, how to color the Excel, how to make demarcation between the rows and the columns and the headers. Okay, so this is coloring part. Now you might be saying, sir, okay, if I further want to make this in very good presentation format, so you could see the font. In the font there is option called borders. Okay, what you do, you select all the columns. What I did to select all, I went at the top, I did Control A to select all the spreadsheet, and then I have applied all borders. So this is the way you basically beautify an Excel. Okay, now I want to create or make this as a bold. So I'll simply select the row and then I'll press either the B over here, or I can press Control B. So Control B is used for making the things bold. Okay, this is for copying. This is for paste. This is for cut. This is for minimize menu bar, minimize menu bar. Okay. Then this is for selecting all the columns, and this is making bold. Okay, fair enough. Now, if this is a spreadsheet created, correct? Now this is created as a bold. This is, so now this looks in a better presentation, formatable, Excel. Now, if these are the things you could see, correct? Now, the most and the foremost thing, whenever you do your work or you write, it's about saving the file. Okay. Now, how you can save the file? Either you can press Control S, it will ask you to save the file, or you can go at the top and in the file menu, you could select the option called save or save as. Now I am going to save this file to basically browse. Through browse, I will give the space where I want to save this file on my hard drive. Now I am going to save this file under module 3. It was this module 3 we are going, and I am calling it as a batch profile and save. Now you would see the name of the file will be appearing at the top with the batch profile. Okay, this data is saved. Now next time onwards, whenever I press Control S, it is automatically going and saving that file. So shortcut Control S is for saving the file. Any questions so far, guys?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
sir, can you do serial number? How to series? I mean,
I'll do that. I'll do that. Okay. So let's suppose I only copy pasted, all the name of the people. Okay.
okay,
I
okay,
copy
sir.
pasted the name. Now there are two ways to do it: autofill and adjacent autofill. Now I am showing you the autofill option also, and I'll show you the adjacent autofill also. Okay. So
Okay,
now is basically I have typed SR number here. Okay. I have written 1 and 2. So
yes,
Excel
sir.
understand I have to increment things by 1. Correct. If you go at the bottom, there will be a small, if you go at the bottom, there will be small, square.
Yes,
Correct.
sir.
I simply double click on that. When I double click on that, it goes and identify, okay, on the adjacent side, I have 20 rows. So I need to stop at that place. Correct. Now, this is called adjacent cell autofill. Now, assume if I don't have adjacent field, okay.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
I remove this and here I type SR number. Now, here I type 1 and 2. So do you think it will go and automatically stop at 20? It doesn't know where to stop
Yes, sir.
because there is nothing on the adjacent side. So what you can do, you can simply go ahead and drag till the point you want to do it.
Okay, sir.
So Excel automatically understands, how do I increment, because the two numbers are incremented by 1. Now, if I make it this 10 and I make this 20, Excel automatically understand that I need to update these by 10 times. So that is
Thank
the
you.
power of Excel. So far, so good. This is very basic. Now, if you closely observed, for time being, I was basically, I told you how to do the table, how to do the color, bold, and format examples. Correct. Now, you might be wondering, there will be a lot of experts who do not touch mouse also. They do everything with the shortcuts. Now, if you want to become that level expert, so you always have to remember the power of Alt key. Okay. Now, power of Alt key, how it works. If I press my Alt key for, let's suppose this is the data I have pasted here. Correct. Do you think this is formatted rightly, guys? This is not rightly formatted, correct?
Yes.
This sheet number 3, correct? Now, if my sheet 3 is not neatly formatted, correct? Now, I want to do the same thing again on this. I want to show you 2 examples, Control A, and I'll copy paste the same information, in another column, Control V. Okay, fair enough. Now, in the sheet 3, I won't touch my mouse. Now you closely observe, I am typing the keys. So what I have done at the top, first press Alt key for more than 2 seconds. Can you see when I press my Alt key more than 2 seconds, what has happened? You would see at the top, lot of options, name alphabets written. In front of home, H is written, file F is written, insert N is written, correct? So this basically suggests if those who don't have the mobile and those who don't have the mouse with them, they can still use the shortcuts to fasten the speed of their Excel execution. Now I want to do what? So first I want to align my S number into center alignment, correct? So where the center alignment basically lies under home option bar. So I have pressed home. Now as soon as I selected H, it basically gives me each and every function I need to press. So to get the center alignment, what I need to type now? AC. So control home AC basically will do the center alignment. Okay. Now again, I want to show you if that was already center aligned. I'm pressing Alt key again. I'm pressing home. And now I want to do the center alignment for the name. I did AC. Got it, guys? Are you guys with me? Did I use mouse? I'll show it again. Control Z. Okay. Okay. Control Z is basically another shortcut that you will use is for undo the things. Undo things means if you write something, if you made some mistake. Now what I did, if I press Control Y, it will basically go and do the previous changes. Undo. Okay. And redo. So let's suppose I deleted this number. Okay. And I press Control Z again, it will get that number back. So Control Z will always get you to the back at much of the amount you want to go back before saving. Okay. Now I have selected the column. I want to do the center alignment. I pressed Alt key for close to 2 seconds. Now as soon as I pressed for 2 seconds, I see a lot of options are coming at the top. Now I know where my center alignment basically lies. It's basically in the menu bar. So for menu bar, I have selected H. As soon as I selected H, you leave the Alt key, guys. Alt key once pressed, there's no need of Alt key again. You leave the Alt key. Now I have selected simply H. Now I want to do the center alignment for this text. So I type AC and you would see that my column is center aligned. Okay. Now, because I wanted, now what we have done next is basically we did the bordering part, correct? Now let's do all the borders. So I selected Control A. I pressed the Alt key. I went to H. Now I have to do the bordering. So where is the border, guys? Border is basically saying selecting the B option, correct? So I will go and I'll select the B option. Now under B, do I want only bottom order, top order? What we have done? We have done all borders, correct? So what is my all borders is basically A. Now I'll type A, it does that. So the people, those who want to make it little very, very fast, do the Excel and attain the level. So guys, you don't need to use mouse. The thing what we can use with mouse that can automatically done through the keyboard itself. And real pro efficiency you will get when you don't touch the mouse at all. And you remember the shortcuts at the lightning fast speed. You will practice it slowly, you will get that. You don't have to remember, guys. I don't believe in remembering. Excel is so smart. You just know what to press. Excel will give you the options and select that. Now at the top of the column, I need to give the color code. Now here, I can use arrows, bottom arrows, because there's no numbers. So I can use my bottom arrows to scroll down and give the numbers. So select the color. And you could see in the Excel, the colors code are automatically changing. Can you see that? As I am moving ahead, the behind my the top headers are changing the color code. So far so good, guys. Are you with me? and I simply press enter, it will select that. Now somebody want to volunteer, I want to make this as a bold. That is another way. There's another way of remembering this as a shortcut. Control plus B will also give you that. So it has multiple ways to do that. So these are the basic things we covered. Now I will tell you the application of format painter. Now you might be saying, okay, sir, we learned this. Now there are a lot many things are there. Can I copy paste? Do I need to repeat everything again in this spreadsheet? Again, do I need to redo things? So guys, Excel is very smart. Now you go to AB sheet, okay, or you go to sheet 3, you select this by Control A, and you would see there is a painter option, format painter option. I double click on that. Single click will only select once. Double click basically means you can apply multiple times. Okay, now I selected that. I go to the sheet 4 and I simply go to the first cell and I press mouse click on that. Ta-da! Everything is auto formatted. Okay, so this is basically called as the auto filling. Correct. So the thing is, when you apply the functions, the formats, so the format painter basically remembers what format did you choose on one thing and apply the same thing to the selected cells. Okay, I can do that by one row also. If I select only one row and I click here, go to sheet 4, apply that, only one row is getting formatted. Correct. Now if I go here and if I do all selection, okay, and if I go to sheet 4, top of the corner, it applies everywhere. So the thing we covered is basically formatting, application of format painter. Okay, now somebody might want to only copy paste this information. So Control C, Control V is one way option. Correct. Now if there's some formula written, okay, so let's suppose I want to give marks here. Okay, I use one function called rand between. I'll talk about that in second course. Rand between basically helps you randomly assign the numbers between two numbers. Okay, now somebody has scored between 75 to 100, so that is the maximum marks you could score. So if I go back and type, so these are the marks assigned randomly to each and everybody. Correct. Now if I click anywhere, the numbers will change. Okay, if I do refresh or Control S, the number, if I go here, now these are the numbers assigned. Correct. Rand between. Now I change this to 24. You would see the numbers are changing. Control Z, numbers are changing. So I don't want this number to change. Once I assign, is assigned. Are you guys with me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now if I don't want to change this number, I could simply select this, Control C, then you could apply Alt ESV. I'll repeat, Alt ESV. That basically makes copy paste the value, only values, no formulas, and press OK. Now even if I change any number, it won't change. So guys, copy pasting the values as a faster way, only paste as a values, is another short key. Alt E plus S plus V means copy paste values only, no format. Any questions, guys? Do you want me to showcase this one more time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now here, if you look at closely, guys, what I have done, I applied a function called rand between. Rand between basically used to assign random numbers between bottom to top number. So bottom I have specified nobody scored less than 75 and maximum number scored is 100. Now it basically goes, and if you look at initially it is applied 93 to Nagaraj. Now if I go down and I paste it, it will show you that the 96 has changed to 83. Correct? Is that right? Or if I change Akhil's number 26 to 22, now Nagaraj got 91, Akhil got 75. If I change back to 26 again, the numbers are changing. So what happens, every function when I press, if the formula of rand between is not saved, it is basically changing the values arbitrarily, because it is thinking that I need to change values on the every refresh of the Excel sheet. Correct? So in order to avoid that, what we'll do, once the value is created, going Control C and applying Alt ESV on the same row. Alt ESV only copy paste the values. Shift Control down arrow. So it goes automatically to the last row you have filled or the blank row. Let's suppose this data does not exist. Okay. Let's suppose this data does not exist. And there is a data of 88, 87, 86 arbitrarily. Okay. Now, when I go back and if I press down, Control Shift down, it will only go till the selected or the filled columns. So this is another fastest way to reach the bottom of your column, which is called Control Shift down arrow. Okay. Control plus Shift down arrow is basically to reach the bottom of your field sales. Okay. Alt ESV, you guys got it? So pasting the values as columns or values as is without the formula, we use basically Alt ESV. Okay. Now, how to transpose the table? Okay. Somebody he said, okay, this is the information, but I don't want this information. I want this to be transposed. So the transpose basically means the rows become columns and the column become rows. Correct? Now, if I select simply these two rows, okay, and I want to change the header associated with that, I go to this, I'll select one column, I'll press Alt ES. Okay, Alt ES. Now I want to do the transpose, so I'll do the T. Okay, Alt ES transpose and click OK. So you would see now the data has become into the columns. Now I can simply make entire data into the columns. I'll do that. I selected Control A. Okay, I don't want marks, my bad. I did Control A, Control C. I went to Shift. I went here at the column, Alt ES transpose, done. The entire data what we copied was now into the format which is called column. Okay, so entire data now has been transposed. So rows have become columns and the columns has become rows. Are you guys with me? Let's suppose I want to, okay, I want to copy paste this data. You have a visualization for which this data you have to show as a column. Okay. So will you go line by line and do this? What you can do, you can simply go here, copy, and you could type it again. If you press Ctrl V, it will go other way around, or you can go manually and type one by one. Correct? Do you think that is a feasible option? Correct. So if we have to do that, that is not feasible, and if we have to do everything in one go, we use the Excel function called transpose. So what I've done, I went to the column B, I copy pasted the entire data, Control C, and where I need to transpose, I went to that column and I pressed Alt ESV, and then I selected the transpose. Done. The entire data now copy pasted only as values. Now, if you want that entire data to be copy pasted as format also, Alt ES, formats, transpose, done. It will only copy paste the formats. Now I want values, Alt ESV, formats, values, transpose, done. So it basically copy paste all those values as well. Okay, so now these are the basic things, guys, what we learned right now. Okay, now last thing remaining in the basic is how to remove the duplicates. Assume Nagaraj's entry, what I have. Okay, I have done it again. Okay, now if Nagaraj's entry again, then how can I remove that? Correct. So I'll simply go, I'll select the entire column, and can you see the options of filter under data? If you go, you have to go to data. Okay, now under data, under tools, you would see the option called remove duplicates. Can you guys see this? Now, if I type this, I select all. So it basically goes and identify across all the rows and the columns and remove duplicates at the row level. And if you go that, tada, it will say one row deleted. So the Nagaraj's row, what we created, that has removed. So Excel is that powerful. So now these are the things, are the basic, correct, guys. Now the beautification we wanted to learn more thing about is basically how to plot the charts. Okay, let's go to the charts also and see, can I do the charting part. So guys, now I want to plot or see how my data looks like. Correct. That is where from basic, now let's go a little small advanced Excel. Okay, which is basically we leverage Excel for. Now I simply go Control A. Now insert, I want to put the charts. Okay, now under home tab, we learned all the format tables and other things. Correct. Okay, one more thing I wanted to cover under home tab was the conditional formatting. Okay, now let's suppose here I have used marks. I use the function called rand between. Rand between, let's suppose somebody got 50 to 100. Okay, so it will allocate the marks by default. Correct. Now if the marks are allocated, now I will simply go and apply the format painter on this. I want marks to be done this. Okay, done. Now if these marks are there, now after the marks given to you, you want to show who is the highest scorer or who is the top. Correct. Either you could do two ways. You could apply filters. Okay, if you select the rows and at the top you would see the filter option. Correct. And that basically suggests apply filters. Can you see that? It is too long way. Correct. I'll give you a shortcut. Alt D FF, is basically used to apply the filters. Alt plus D plus F plus F. Applying filters and removing filters. Can you try that? I'll press it again. Alt DFF. Alt DFF. Can you see that? So the time I took to go to the filters, select the drop down, that is much way faster. So that is the way you apply filters to your data. Now by applying this filter, I'm basically going to sort this data. I want to see who is largest or who is smallest. So if I go and click, this basically says Kishan Gowda, 8 number, has scored 99 marks, followed by Sanjay Kumar. Guys, these are random numbers. Don't get me wrong. Then Gopi, Prasanna, and so forth. Correct. Now I want to know who has scored in the list. If I do this, so Pawan has basically scored little lesser marks in this particular exam. So this is all right between. Now I'll simply do the Control Z. Control Z. It goes back to the original data. So that is the power of selecting the filters, doing sorting and doing. But the beauty of this tool is basically conditional formatting. I want to show the progress of my data. So if the column is selected and I want to show the beautification of this, how can I do that? First, I could showcase as a data bars, who has scored less, who has scored more. So the row and the width and the size of the column G is based on the column score. Who has scored less, who has scored more. So you could use this way. Second, you could use the scale way, where you could show the high performing guys to be shown extremely dark and lower performing guys towards extremely low. Both ways is possible. Correct. Now, under conditional formatting, I can use icons. So those who have scored more can show upward trend. Those who have scored less or same mark, it shows the lower trend. So internally, it applies a rule that anybody, those who scored X number of marks more, press up arrow. Those who are in between, say horizontal arrow. Those who are scored less, apply the down arrow. Can you see this, guys? This is the power and the visualization. So looking at the numbers, you cannot make sense. But when you apply visualization towards that, the way you represent the data, it's completely changed. It's very easy to infer. Correct? I'll remove this formatting. Okay. Okay. This is about the conditional formatting, guys. Now, if we have done the formatting, now we want to do some kind of, somebody got 86.5, somebody got round off marks. So what you do? You basically, if you want to convert these numbers into percentage, press percent. If you want to go by numbers, you go by numbers. And this basically helps you out to classify whether you want to see 1 digit, 2 digit numbers or 3 digit numbers and so on and so forth. Correct? So this is the custom ribbon. Now we have looked at most of the things from the home tab. Now the most important tab is basically the insert tab, where you want to understand how my data looks like. Pivot, I will show you in the next class. Next class will be on advanced functions, what we use. I'll just showcase how I can use the charts. Now I select the data, I go here and I plot the table. It basically gives me the visualization of the number of marks scored by the people. I can also follow a trend line. I can do a lot of chartings and I can present the data in various format. Now, this will be another way to present the same information. Correct? So we'll identify where to use what type of charts. I'll take those examples explicitly and make you guys perfect towards that. So next session, we will be using the advanced functions, which are heavily used functions. If you know these 15 functions, you could excel in Excel, correct? So this application of these 15 functions using the same data, I'll save this data. So this data will play with, will apply different charts, different ways to present, and we will do the application of all the formulas on this Excel in the next class. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.